Welcome back to another episode of Procrastination Garage, and my name is Matt. We're on week 11, and it's early in the week. It's actually only a Tuesday, which for Procrastination Garage, you know that's early. But the thing is I'm taking the motorhome out on Friday, so we need to get the motorhome prepped for the weekend. So let's get started. So where do we start? Well, the motorhome's parked there in the shop. Eventually, it needs to be parked there next to the snowmobile trailer. But first, it needs to be pulled up the driveway about to where the white truck is so I can fill up the water tank. So we got to play musical vehicles. We got to get everything organized here. And just like that, we're ready to go. Got both trucks out of the way. Now for the motorhome. You'll remember when we ended the last episode, we had hooked the battery tenders up. The one that had been showing red is now green, fully charged. The other one that was showing a flashing green is now fully charged. So this thing is all fine and dandy, should fire right up, which it would have fired right up anyway. Figured we might as well hook the tractor up since we had a spare charger. You can see it's red, so it needs a charge. Good thing we put that little battery tender plug on it in one of our last videos. That made it easy. Yeah, it looked like the lighting in here is terrible, but anyway, let's fire up this old motorhome. There she goes, 460 baby. This thing barely fits with these mirrors. I usually rub the weather stripping on both sides as I go in and out. I could fold them, but they're kind of a pain. Right there. Power brakes on that thing are touchy. Hey there, Bear. I can't do anything outside without Bear coming to visit. He's such a sweet kitty. Aren't you, buddy? Yeah, you good boy. You're very loud. So what is it? It's a 1995 Yellowstone Capri made by Gulfstream Company. It sits on an E350 Ford chassis, 460 V8. 4-speed automatic overdrive. It's got a set of Banks headers and a Banks air intake on it. It's a pretty sprightly little motorhome, 24 foot. We've had it 10-15 years, and it's got a little less than 50,000 miles on it. And being 24 foot, to me, that's just about the right size. But it's dirty, it needs a bath, and it's got faded paint and faded graphics, but it's had a good life. The last 10 years has been undercover. So let's get it ready to go. Even though the place we're going has water hookups, it's always good to have a full water tank. So we'll put that in there, and then I know I need to go inside because I've got a couple valves that are open on the inside still. In the back under the bed is the water tank, and way down in there is a little drain valve. And you can't see it, you just got to reach down there and feel for it. And it's just a push-pull, and it needs to be pushed to close it. And down underneath the stove in the storage compartment, there's also a couple of drain valves, and those also have to be pushed to close. I actually had to find the one. This is a little stopper right there that pushes down. This one it's broken. It's not supposed to come all the way out, but it does. Doesn't hurt anything. It still works just fine. So that needs to be pushed down. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a spot for it. As part of the winterizing process, all the faucets in the motorhome are open, so they need to be closed up. You'll notice my vanity here is a bit of unfinished carpentry, and that's just another Procrastination Garage issue. Same with this little step in here. These are projects that were started probably 6-7 years ago, never completed. The vanity was actually cut down because it used to extend way out to here and interfered with access to the toilet. Faucets in the tub turned off, and the kitchen faucet's closed. The water tank is filling. It'll be a while. It's a pretty big tank, I think around 40 gallons, and you don't want to push the water in there too fast because it'll just come right back out. To me, it's a good idea to fill this tank up in the spring so you have an emergency water source all through the summer and into the fall. I did not get that done, procrastinating I suppose, so it'll stay full until I'm ready to winterize, which won't be until mid-October or so. The motorhome's got a built-in generator, but it's really loud, so I never use it. but I always make sure it runs. I had to clean the carburetor on it a couple seasons ago, but it should be good to go. For some reason, when you start it for the first time, you have to start it from outdoors. It's got a remote switch on the inside. See if it'll fire up. It's smoky. Smoke goes away. Purring like a kitten. You can see the generator still smoking a little blue smoke. That should stop after a bit, I hope. Anyway, once it warms up, we're gonna plug the motorhome into the generator and make sure it works by turning on the air conditioner. But let's let it warm up and see if it quits smoking. While the generator's warming up, we'll turn on the propane. Tank is nearly full. Not sure you can see it. Then we'll come in and we'll turn the refrigerator on. And it's in the auto mode. That means it'll go to gas since it's not plugged in right now. And we'll see if it fires up or not. Yeah, see, it even flashes on to gas. What I found is when you first turn it on, when it hadn't been on for a long time, it won't light, probably because there's no gas in the line. So by the time the igniter gets done trying to ignite it, it gives up and then it goes into a fault mode. And then you just got to turn off, turn on again. And usually the second time it will start working. So we'll just come back in a little bit and we'll look and see a red fault light probably. While I'm here thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and press this. That takes it out of auto, leaves it in gas only. So that way when we plug the generator in, it won't be trying to run on the electric. The smoke is cleared up. We're going to call it warmed up. So what do we need to do? See, there's the end of the plug that plugs in somewhere. And then we need to plug it in to right there. And hey, look at there. Water tank is full. All right, that's good. Water tank is over full. It'll quit draining here in a minute. I've got it plugged into itself now. Can you see it? Now you can see it. So it's all plugged in. Now we'll go turn the air conditioner on. It should fire up. Air conditioner controls, when we turn it to high cool, generator should get louder and air conditioner start working. Except we got to go all the way around. There we go. She's running, so that's how we know the generator's working. And then we'll let the air conditioner run for a little bit to make sure it's putting out cold air. Because where we're going this weekend, we're going to need air conditioning. One thing I forgot to check was the hot water heater. I unscrew this anode here to drain the water in the fall. And I used to leave it loose and then tighten it up when I unwinterized it. But lately I've been tightening it back up after it's completely drained. So I think that's what I did, because it's not leaking. That's good. And that's something we still need to do, is we need to check the rest of the water system, make sure everything's working. Air conditioner's been running for a few minutes. I can confirm it's putting out nice cold air. So we'll go ahead and shut it back off. Generator's running higher, it'll kick down a little bit. So you can see the motorhome is kind of a disaster. What happens is it sits all winter long. I'm in and out of it, putting supplies in, taking stuff out. That's just the way it is. It'll be all cleaned up before we leave on Friday. Shutting off the generator inside, hit the stop button. She'll run right down. Perfect. Then we should be able to hit the start button. She fires right back up. So we're good to go. Next up, let's make sure the water system works with the 12-volt pump. Turn the pump on. I hear it running, so that's good. Now I come in the bathroom and I'll turn the hot water on. And right now it's just pumping air. This will fill up the hot water heater. So we basically want to leave this on until the hot water heater is filled and water's coming out of here. It'll be a little bit. Out here in the kitchen, if we turn on the cold water, it should come out a lot sooner. In theory. Come on, baby. I hear you. Well, it's not a ton of water. It just has to fill up the whole system, so it's going to be a little bit. There we go. We've got water running through the hot water heater. It's cold because the hot water heater's not on. Shut that one off. Turn on the cold. Good. and turn on in the shower here. Here's cold. Oops. Cap came off. Hot. Cap came off. While we're here, why don't we go ahead, this little button down here is for the hot water heater. So we'll turn that on. Now that we know the hot water tank is full, we can go ahead and power it on and see if we've got hot water or not. This will take 10, 15, 20 minutes. Verify the kitchen sink is all working now. Cold. Hot. Takes a little bit for water to get through. It's coming. Found the problem. I unscrewed this from the faucet. It's all clogged up. No biggie, we'll have to take care of that. Back to the refrigerator, you can see the check light is on. I thought it was a red light, but obviously it's not. So what that means is we turn it off, we turn it back on, and after a while, in theory, the refrigerator will start working. Worst case, the check light will come on again. We'll try it one more time, but we'll come back and check it in a while. Using a little adapter, I'm plugged into a 15 amp outlet. This will let the inverter run on the inside to keep the batteries charged since we've been running the pump and may run some lights and stuff. I'm going to leave the motorhome parked here until this evening, so when it's shady I can give it a bath. I don't seem to be getting any hot water. We're going to shut that off, turn it on again. I'm not hearing the igniter. Maybe it's already gone through a cycle. Let's check, see if we have any hot water. No, that water is not hot at all. So for some reason, our hot water heater isn't kicking on. Alright, I just flicked it off and flicked it on again, and this time the light came on. So, let's wait and see what happens. Oh, I hear the igniter. She's trying. We'll come out by the hot water heater and see if we feel any heat coming out of it. Oh, there it is. You hear it fire up? I can smell a little bit of gas. Alright, she'll be working in a little bit. I think we've gone through all the checks we need to do on the inside here. So now it's time to clean this thing up. I'm not going to subject you to that, and I will show you a finished product when I get all done. It's only been a few seconds for you, but it's been a couple hours for me. Got the motorhome all cleaned out and cleaned up. Took the rugs out, shook them, stuff off the bed, up front, everything looks good. Vacuum shaken out. And even down in here, where all the mouse poop was, I vacuumed all that out, rewashed all the dishes and everything down there, so everything's good to go. So there we go. Mainly it's just start time to packing up, get ready to go. But we still have a couple days before we're leaving. Change of plans. While I was going to wash it, I got to thinking, really, what's the point? You're just going to get it dirty again, so it'd make more sense to wash it when you come back. That being said, the windows are awful, especially the windshield, so I can at least wash the windows on it. And by wash, I just mean with a squeegee. We're not putting any real effort into this. The sun is going down and we're still playing musical vehicles. I've got the motorhome back down in here and parked for a few days. Moved the green truck out of the way because we needed to get that shop door open. Why? Because we needed the UTV on the trailer, hooked to the truck, and loaded with gear. We're going to do some trail maintenance tomorrow. Should be a good day. Hey there, sweet little Bailey. How are you doing, little girl? Yeah, you're a good girl. Oh, Bear. Such a loud kitty. Today's Thursday. Yesterday, Wednesday, I took the UTV up in the mountains with some friends and we explored some trails and did some brush cutting and had a good time. Insert gratuitous video here. it's time to get this unloaded and move on to other projects. And the other project is we're back at the motorhome again. When I left it on Tuesday, it was all plugged in and the refrigerator was working, and I came out today and the refrigerator wasn't working. It should have been running on gas if nothing else, but I did have it plugged into shore power too. So right now my best guess is I do not have any 12 volt electricity, which I believe the refrigerator needs a 12 volt signal in order to run. So now we got to figure out why we don't have any 12 volt. I'm guessing the battery is charged. I'm thinking something is wrong with the inverter, hopefully just a blown fuse. We'll start things by checking the battery. Again, I'm using my screwy little meter that doesn't have a good reading on the DC volt. It's either 10 or 250, so we're just going to use the 10 and we're just going to tap it and see. Yeah, she's running all the way across, so yeah. I'm guessing we got a good solid 12 volts there, so I don't think the battery's our issue. Not only is the refrigerator not working, I don't have any of my 12 volt lights working either. See, that should be coming on. And the fact none of those are working leads me to believe that we're just not getting a 12 volt power. Now, the question is, all right, see there, the clock is flashing, so I am plugged into shore power. So we know shore power is coming into the motorhome. So my guess is our problem is all in that bad boy right there. Got the cover open, and I see I've got a big red positive coming in and a white negative coming in. I'm going to go ahead and check for power. You guys won't see that, but I'm guessing there'll be 12 volts there, no problem. It made a liar out of me. I just checked. I do not have voltage there. So the question is why? See, I would think that red lead would be coming straight from the battery up front. I'm not so sure about the white one, where that comes from. Got to keep troubleshooting. If you don't have one of these tools, you ought to get one. It's a pretty handy little thing. I don't know what it's called. I don't remember. This is not the most expensive version of it, but it's really nice. It comes with a very long cord. It lets you read voltages, and it also lets you input voltages, 12 to 24 volts. So what we're going to do is we're trying to figure out if that red lead at the back of the motorhome has power, and this thing just barely reaches it. But for now, we've got the ground hooked up on it. We'll touch the positive to the battery. We'll press this little button, and it'll beep, and it shows 13 volts. So that's fine. So now we'll go back to the back of the motorhome and see if we have any voltage back there. Like I said, this thing just barely reaches. So we're going to touch it to there. We're going to press the power button, and we got nothing. So if this was connected up front, if we had continuity all the way through, it would have beeped and given us some voltage reading. So somewhere we don't have power between the front and the back. There's probably a better way of doing this, but without reading the owner's manual on that tester, I'm not sure. So what I've done here is I've hooked up the negative on this, and when I go up to the battery up front and touch the positive, in theory, it should beep. That'll show me if I've got a ground that runs all the way through. All right, we'll touch to the positive, press the button. Perfect. Okay, so we have ground. So grounding is not our problem. Our problem is positive. We do not have a positive connection from the battery back to the inverter. Now, when the battery cable comes off of here, there's actually a couple of cables. This one I think just runs straight across over here to this little switch, and that's what charges both batteries. So that's what that is. So, but this other battery that comes off goes down here where my finger's pointed, and it goes into some kind of little block, and I don't know what it is or what it does, and I can't hardly see in there, but we'll probe it for power here in a second. I need to get a better flashlight. Okay, I don't know, can you see down in there? I don't think you guys can see it, but I think I found my problem, or at least part of the problem. I'm finding a rod, which I think is part of a battery hold down, that looks to be shorted against the positive in there, and that can't be good. So we need to get that out of there and see where we're at. I want to disconnect the positive and negative terminals off of that battery. To access, it'll be easier if I get rid of this little Banks intake thing. So done do this, and then I think I've already pulled that little hose there. Then this lifts out of the way. All right, now we get the battery, and I'm just going to disconnect it. All right, if you look down in there, just right where the brightest light is, on that terminal there, you can see there's some little fry marks on there. I pulled that rod off of there and it still sparks, so I must still be getting power from the battery on the other side. So we definitely were grounding out, and that is not a good thing. And the problem with that is it could have damaged something else, but for now we'll just check and see if maybe that fixed it. Maybe we've got power now. Look at there, I stepped back in the coach and we've got lights on in the back. Got bathroom lights on. Now the question is the refrigerator going to come on? Ah, there we go. Power back to the refrigerator. It's in the auto mode. AC, gas. All right, we'll leave in the auto mode, save on our gas. Okay, so problem is fixed. Now the issue is neither battery on either side have a hold down on them, and honestly they're not really going anywhere. They're so tightly packed in here, and I've replaced the batteries and I'm not sure. See, there's a rod on that side. It's just never had a thing on it going across it, because like I said, this side doesn't have one either. So I'm not going to worry about having a battery hold down, but what I am going to make sure of is that that rod that fell is still down in there somewhere. I need to make sure that it's not going to move around and fall over that again. Then I'll get all this other stuff put back. This is kind of funny. I was just noticing somebody tied this one with a string to keep it from flopping around. That wasn't me. There's all the offending pieces. The one on the left was the one that shorted out. I bent it when I took it out so it'd clear. The one on the right was the one held in with a piece of string. So, and then there's a nice little piece of wood that the battery was sitting on. Not sure why, but I'm not going to change it. So this battery is such a tight fit. There's a screw right here that looks just like this one that I had to remove in order to have enough clearance between these 2 points. And even then I've got to yank, and it's going to be the same going back in. It is a tight fit. That's why I'm not too worried about it coming out. If the motorhome rolls or something, but then the battery's going to be the least of my problems at that point. Everything's put back together. Intake's put back. Battery connections all made, tightened down. So we're good to go. Of course, in the process, I managed to knock my sockets off and they spread out a little bit. Oh well. So at the end of the day, we still don't really know what is going on with this little block back in here that was shorted out. And I guess we're not going to care until it breaks, and then we'll figure it out. Just a couple more things to do before we slam the hood. Why not put some washer fluid in it? Couldn't tell you the last time I filled that up. And then we also need to check the engine oil. Where's the dipstick? Down in there. Alright. Glug, 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 glug. Yep, that one's filling up. Okay, that's full. Now let's check the engine oil. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but right on the full mark. I just changed oil in it last summer, so shouldn't be a problem. The only other thing I want to get done is I want to check the air pressure in the tires. Should be 65 in the front, and the duals in the rear should have 60 in each tire. That rear dual has about 55, so we'll go ahead and goose that up. There we go, got that one up to 60. Now I'll check the other one. The other dual had about 59, so I bumped it up, no problem. Now we're on the left front, and it's supposed to be at 65. I already did the two right rear tires, and they're good. Left front is 65. I'm not going to lie, that right front one gave me some problems. Both the front tires have short little extensions on them, so they'll extend out past the hubcap. And this right one does not want to take air very well at all. I had to position, reposition, and reposition, and reposition before I got it to where it would take just a little bit of air. It took forever to get the air pressure up. It was down about 59. I had to get it up to 65. So I spent about 10 minutes doing it. All right, a little procrastination going on. We're not going to put our tools away tonight. That being said, I did get the UTV unloaded and the mower loaded up for the mow job tomorrow. Not only that, got the weed whacker in the back of the truck. The only thing I'm missing is my roundup, and I'll get that put in the truck here in a second. There it is, a couple gallons of roundup ready to go. So you may be wondering what the deal is with loading the mower and the roundup and the weed whacker. One of our rental properties, I do the mowing over there, and what it is I keep the yard good enough to pass inspection for their landlord. And since I'm the landlord, all I gotta do is keep myself happy. Look up in the sky. It's looking pretty dark up there tonight. I think we're going to get a thunderstorm roll through. That's good because it was a 100-degree day today. Here I am, headed home after a pretty good weekend with the motorhome. A couple of things. One, I was a little quick to judge on my fix on the 12 volt to the coach. It turned out that I must have popped a little circuit breaker, probably destroyed it. It's a little automatic one that's supposed to reset. Because I found out that when I unplugged from shore power, I lost my 12 volts. But luckily over the weekend I was plugged into shore power, so it wasn't really an issue. So that's good. And then the other thing I realized is that my air conditioner needs a recharge. I haven't used the motorhome, the air conditioning, since last summer, and it was working fine then. But today, or well, this weekend, it was not. And it was a really hot ride over on Friday. Me and the poor dog, we were a little overheated, but it's not so bad today, headed home. So anyway, all in all, a good trip. Everything else in the motorhome worked just as we'd expected to. It's time to wrap up this episode of Procrastination Garage. I hope you enjoyed the content. It wasn't real exciting, just working on my motorhome, getting it ready for a trip, things that had to be done. Remember, the goal of Procrastination Garage, well, two parts. Most important is to keep me motivated, keep me out in my shop doing things big and small, getting them done. Second is maybe to motivate you to get out in your shop, garage, even out in your front lawn and get projects done, get cars running, motorcycles, lawnmowers, whatever it is. So get out there and get to work. Tell me down in the comments what you're working on, or tell me what you're not working on. I hope you'll like, I hope you'll subscribe, I hope you'll tell your friends. Remember, my name's Matt, this is Procrastination Garage, and we will see you next week.